Hi everyone, welcome back to Learning with JD. So I know long time, but we are catching up again. We are going to today start the topic on the PIMBOK 7th edition. I know a lot of you all are already preparing for your PMP examination. So we are going to pick up for the PIMBOK 7th edition and start our preparation on that direction. What we are going to do is that I've created a separate playlist within my YouTube channel for the 7th edition. We are going to talk about everything which is going to be covered for your examination. That is one. Second, this time I want to keep the videos really short, right? Because things have changed. PIMBOK 6th edition was more about the waterfall model, etc. Now we have moved into a more agile way of handling things. So why are we sticking to a long, lengthy, boring videos? Let's get into short videos. Let's make them interesting and see that how much ever you are able to understand. If there's anything that you want me to reply to you, please comment below. If you've not subscribed the channel already, please subscribe, because full bang we are going to start this preparation. And if you are going to give your examination in the next 2 to 3 months, these videos are going to be extremely important and necessary for you, right? Very helpful also. So yeah, so I think let's begin with the introduction. And we all know I have already spoken about what has changed from the 6th to the 7th edition. I am not going to waste too much time talking about the purpose, and we all know why we need a standard project management for application in any industry, any location, any style, any delivery approach. We all know why is it so important. So I think let's move on to the most important part of the terms and the concepts, which is going to be a part of the 7th edition. All right, so the first one is outcome. What do you actually mean by an outcome? We are working on a project, we are working on a product. There is something which is going to be out, which is expected out of it, right? The end result, what is going to come out of it, is the actual the outcome of either a process or a project. So understand, while you are doing the project, that is not an outcome. That's a project or a project management that we typically talk about. Whatever is the outcome, which it can be in terms of a product or a service or a delivery, that is something which is known as an outcome. For example, you are supposed to create a mobile banking app. The outcome, which is the app itself, is the outcome of the project, right? So the end result of a process or a project is an outcome. Outcome will include all the outputs and the artifacts. What do you mean by artifacts? What are the components attached to it? For example, if we are talking about an app, app should be working on Android, it should be working on iOS, etc. What are the we will have a broader intent by focusing on the benefits and the value that the project is going to overall deliver. Now coming to the second term which is important is portfolio. We have seen about portfolio in the 6th edition as well. Here the portfolio talks about the entire set of multiple projects which are happening under the same group. So what happens at times that there's a very large project which is going on, but you as a project manager is managing one part of the project, but there are other projects also going on, and there is a portfolio manager as well who's managing the entire portfolio of that team, of that department. So a lot of usage of that portfolio also helps you. Everything which is a part of that project is will fall into the portfolio as well. The group of multiple projects, programs, etc., or even something that is being managed at an operational level will group up together, and the outcome is going to be a strategic objective. Anything which will have the same strategic objective will fall into the same portfolio. What is a product? An artifact that is produced which is quantifiable, right? Whether it's in terms of a delivery or a service, it is quantifiable and can be either an end item itself or a component of an existing end item. For example, a feature enhancement, if it's a large feature enhancement, that itself is also can be produced, can be called as a product. Fair? What is a program? All the related projects. subsidiary programs and program activities that manage in coordinated manner to obtain benefits not available for managing them individually. So for example, if you're working on creating a mobile banking app, there is a team who's working on creating the entire user interface along with security, etc. There's another team which is working on the login experience of it, and there's another team who's working on the checkout experience of it. Now all these small projects coming together will form a program. Now this may or may not be managed by one project manager, assuming there are different people working on it, but finally, because it has the same capability, and all of them will obtain its benefit only when it comes together, and that's what is known as a program. Now what's a project? We all know, we've worked about projects before as well. It is anything which is temporary, it is anything which is unique, and it has to have a product or a service or a result. It is temporary in nature because it will have a start date and it will have an end date. A project cannot go on forever. It can stand alone, or it can be a part of the program or the portfolio. What is project management? You When you apply all the knowledge, the skills, the tools and techniques to a project activity to meet the project requirement, that is what is known as a project management. Now when we are talking about PMP is nothing but a project management tool, right? Why are we learning PMP? We are learning PMP so that we get efficient in our project management skills. Project management refers to guiding the project work to deliver the intended output, whatever the output is required, whatever it is intended, right? The project team can achieve the outcomes using by a broad range of approaches. It can be hybrid, it can be predictive, it can be adaptive. The methodology can be anything depending upon your organization, your industry, your project, but everything coming together is something which is known as project management. Now who is a project manager? The person who's assigned by the performing organization to lead the project. Now always remember, project manager has to be one person who's responsible for that project. A project manager is going to perform various activities depending upon the variety of the functions, such as facilitating the project team, the work, etc. He is the one who is going to be ultimately responsible for the project, not the sponsor. Remember, there's a difference between a project manager and a project sponsor. Project sponsor, somebody is going to give money for the project. Project manager, somebody who's responsible for the project. And what about a project team? Who is a project team? A set of individuals who are actually performing the work of the project to achieve a objective of the project. See, anybody who's involved in the project is a project team member. Even if he is involved in the project even for a day, anybody from the compliance team who's giving his inputs to the project is a part of the project team and has to be appreciated and has to be taken into consideration while taking any decision with regard to the project, right? What are the system for value delivery? A collection of strategic business activities aimed at building, sustaining and advancing an organization. This is a strategic business decision that needs to be taken. All the portfolio, program, project, product, operation, everything can be a part of the organization's system for value delivery. Now again, what is value? What is the value of a project or a product? The worth, the importance, the usefulness of something. Why do you need to build a product? Why do you need to build a project management methodology? What is the importance of it? Why is it required? What is the worth of it? Different stakeholders perceive value in a different way. For a compliance person, the value of it will happen only when it is complied with the RBI guidelines or with the SEBI guidelines. However, for a user experience person who's doing a testing, for him, the value is mattered only when if he is able to browse through something very seamlessly. Customers can define value as the ability to users use specific features or functions of a product. Organizations can focus on business value as determined by financial metrics. For a business guy, only the P&L is going to be important for him. He doesn't care how the product look like. But from a product perspective, that's important for you as a product manager or as a project manager, right? So every contribution by a group of people to a project will get that particular value as an outcome. That is something which is known as the value of doing something. Why do you think that you need to do it? So that's about the terms and the concepts which are going to be used in the PMBOK 7th edition. Ending the first chapter, let us also see who this book is actually, who's the audience of these standards. Anybody who is responsible or accountable for the delivery of the project outcome, works on the project full time or part time. As I told you, even if the person is working for one day, he is responsible for the project and he is a part of the project team. Who's working for portfolio, program, project management offices, are involved in the project sponsorship, product ownership and product management, executive level, project governance. Anybody. Yes, product management is also a part of the project and are responsible and are the audience of this standard. Anybody is going to provide resources for the product work. What do you mean by resources? Resources is that you give your people, you give your time, you give your inputs to the project is your resources. Anybody who's involved in the portfolio or the program management focuses on the value delivery of the portfolio. They are all the audience for the standards. Teach study project management, like me, I'm teaching, you're studying, are involved in any aspect of the project delivery value chain. This standard is applicable for them. We are going to deep dive from the next video onwards on the entire workflow of the PMBOK 7th edition. All the best with your journey in PMP and CAPM. I'm going to meet you again. Till then, take care and keep studying.